So sitting next to you, or sitting behind you or front, so sitting next to you, you might be sitting next to a black devil.
It states in Psalms chapter 82, verse 6, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
This is the Elder Raziel with a message for the children of the Elohim. I walked a long journey on the short path. Grafted this non-mind, this mind expands math itself. Came through with the master teacher. Get wealth from what I have to teach you. Not a preacher, the Anunnaki created this creature, fully packed with features. NUWABU, knocking off leeches. Peace to Malachi, Ziyor, Noble Drew Ali, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Respect and pay homage. From the NUWABIAN tribe, we hope to see you. We still kicking the flows, all the girls know. Just list the show so your mind grows toward a genetic explosion. Pass out whoever was chosen by deception to sell out Negro, the greatest destruction. Without question, knowledge is a weapon. Like Cain, ain't no half stepping to a greater direction.
I want to talk to y'all real quick, you know what I'm saying? Get personal and shit. Hard to play, family man. Hard to play. When you don't even know where the family stand. Too many egos, too many voices that ain't reaching out to people. I'm at 64. I mean, real blood. Pops ain't home, but if he still was, minus the allegations. I wish I knew if it was really true or fabrication. Some of your kids think you did it, got me looking at you strange. Like would they be the same if they ain't grow with the pain? I mean, 200 kids you couldn't find the time for. Do you regret not making time for us? Still screaming free you. Unanswered questions got me wanting to go see you. I'm sure you was dealing with pressure just trying to be you. Heard your own son ratted on you to them people. That's nasty. Even if you did it, the thought would've never passed me. That's if you asked me. Everybody out for self. Quicker to go to friends before I ask family for help. I'm tired of people asking me why Jacob don't help. I don't know. Damn. It feel like we drowning in quicksand. They throw more salt, I'm thinking they reaching for my hands. 500 acres, Egyptian theme on the land. Way too much power and to be a black man.
I'm talking to the Anunnaki. You with me? I'm talking with Inky. Murdoch. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with Inky because I know who Inky is. I know who Inky's family is. I know who Israel is. And I know who Anu is. And I know when the Holy Tablets was coming, I know who was there and what it was talking to. Right. I knew that behind the face of Anu, there was a force that goes back further than that, 9 dimensions. But everything was not for the mortal ear at the time. Right. That's why in Christianity, they use the word faith. You know, or in Islam, they use the word mu'min or iman, faith. But when it comes down to Nuwabian, they say, listen, Nuwabian, let me teach you about Anu and Inky. They want me to make God manifest for us so we will believe. That sounds very familiar, right? Yeah. They want everything. They don't want to put any trust in their leaders or their teachers. They want me to put everything on. Had I gave them everything the way it was coming to me, the devil would have long time, the reptilian shapeshifters would have long time saw where I was going and nipped it off. I had to put out sporadic. I had to jump from place to place. I had to jump from name to name. I had to jump from religion. And in each one, every time I gave you a little something more. Right. About the whole big picture, which we now come down and put. Now you're going to start seeing the whole picture come together as one thing, and you're going to see everything from day one, from the day one, from the day.
Rit Nalej Radio with your host, Tutasha Mahedo Kayu. God bless. Let Allah bless those who will listen to the show today. All right. Now, I've been recording on here, and I'm still working at the Kings, but I got the whole setup the way I like it now. So last time I didn't put the show out because the recording on the background music here was just way too high, right? So I said, nah, we don't want to put out garbage. So yeah, so I'm like, I'll wait. I'm gonna get it right with my new setup here in the tractor. So right there, the music level should get it. All right. So again, this is Brother Tutasha Mahedo Caillou. And as always, we're always going to go over the date, the Nuwabic date. The Gregorian date is May 27, 2025 for the record. The Nuwabic date is year 84. Looks like the 17th month of Ma'at. Here we go right here. If you're looking at the screen, third week. And the Ultashu. The Ultashu of Ninti. Ultashu means day. So there it is. And then today we're going to continue with the reading of the 9 ball. We're in count 4, section E. And before I start reading, for all those who've been keeping up with the show, thank you very much. I know it's been a sporadic schedule here, but in the spirit of the nation and its founder, Dr. Malachi Z. York, who has false charges against him, the old racist Caucasoid system got him. United States colonist government. Even Amazon will not let you sell something that's associated with Dr. York. And it's a very sad day and time when his own sister, Wakia, just took everything, couldn't wait for the man to go to prison, to take all of his possessions and sell them. Dr. York did not transfer his possessions to his sister. His sister illegally took them. You can ask Uma York about that. So that's sad that even Amazon, they reserve the right to not sell somebody's stuff, sell somebody's goods for, legal reasons, political reasons, reputation reasons. And now they've placed Dr. York's name on that list. So it's very important we keep his innocence alive in these colonists, corporate courts, also hateful courts, toward Nuwabians, Morenos in general. So it is what it is, y'all. We need to, unify, but not under that Sabian stuff, man. That stuff don't work. Too much jealousy and hatred there in the Sabian community, and in the Nuwabian community too. A lot of hatred there. A lot of men aren't men. They living off women. They're not getting jobs. Forget starting your own company, as Dr. York would urge us to do. These dudes can't even get jobs. And if you make any money, they hate on you. So this is the gravel pit, I guess, of brothers who came out the ghetto. They just can't grow up, can't unify. And people like that need to stay far away from the nation and far away from me. Inshallah. Oh, Shaitanu. I think it's Haulai. Al-Nasi. So, yeah. And I was listening to Pamus Batu, and the brother was saying to be a master teacher, you go through the Imam self-realization. Wrong. The Imam self-realization is to come into the world of the cosmos, not to become a master teacher. And I'm very surprised that the brother is this ignorant, and he's been around at least since the 80s, y'all. Or the 80s or 90s, when he tells the stories. And all you got to do is open up lesson 1, study 1, and figure that out. For all the brothers who are cosmosians, you know what I speak of. So there's a lot of false information. That's why I say to people, if you want to get the standard teachings of Dr. York, contact the UNNM. The original UNNM, the United Nuwabian Nations of Moors, which is established June 26, 1992 by Amanubi Rakhta, Dr. Malachi Z. York. All right. The man can never turn us away from our master teacher, whatever charges they try to put on him. You know, we know Dr. York wouldn't do the things that they accused him of, which he did not get accused of molestation. He got accused of the Mann Act. And we all know the history behind the Mann Act, that Jack Johnson was also charged with the Mann Act because the white man got jealous that Jack Johnson was sleeping with all the white women. So this is a racist law that was built by the evil Caucasoid. And I'm not surprised he used it against Dr. York. You know, they couldn't find DNA evidence of Dr. York committing molestation because he didn't do it, right? They couldn't find it. If you listen to the Owls of Patmos on our channel, YouTube channel, you'll see that they couldn't find any DNA evidence of him, committing, that he molested these children. So the feds had to come in because the state didn't do what the government agenda was to, put Dr. York in prison by any means possible. That was the government, United States colonist agenda from Britain. So that's what we got, y'all. But anyway, let's it's a sad day and time when your own family turns against you like that, especially a son. He'll meet the pits of hell when he passes. Mr. Jacob, Mr. Pedophile Jacob. Okay. All right. So let's finish this section. Count 4, Section E, information for all dark peoples. And let me check the music levels before I get in here. Okay. All right. I think it looked like my mic levels is too. Okay. I need to hold the mic farther from my mouth like this. Okay. All right. So count 4, Section E, information for all darker peoples. 56. Although other darker races are not the same as the Ethiopian race, darker mankind is closer in nature to Ethiopians than the Caucasian race. This fact is very important because it means other darker peoples' way of life by nature is closer and more relevant, and also means as a Caucasian race falls off the world stage, a more congenial opposition or opposite will take its place. Mankind in general is opposite to the Ethiopian race, but not the extreme opposite like the Caucasian race. And that means less friction and suffering for the Ethiopian race and other darker races as time proceeds. Pause. Okay, so Dr. York, he's saying that all people who have brown or darker skin are not the same people, but they're closer in nature than the Caucasian race is. 57. What we Ethiopian scientists really wish other darker races to know follows. That the aim of the Caucasian race is to subjugate all other races and reduce us all to position of experiments and servants permanently, so that the Caucasian race can practice its mayhem and vampirism anywhere in the world on any people at any time it feels that it needs a scapegoat for well-being and survival. We also wish other darker races to know that they must get their liberation from vampirism and oppression by Caucasians, in a similar manner that we Ethiopians must execute ours, starting with a change in mind. A revolution of the mind in a similar matter as outlined in these booklets called The Nine Ball and Bible Interpretations and Explanations. But of course, each race, darker race, must apply this information in accord with its own nature. 58. Moreover, the purpose of the resurrected Ethiopian by nature is to oppress no one or no other race. But our natural goal is to liberate ourselves and keep our race liberated and help other darker races by correct information that they may be able to do the same. Now let's pause there, right? So we're not to oppress anyone or any other race, nation, or tribe, but we can defend ourselves, and we will defend ourselves. If you're a free man, you will defend yourself by any means necessary, like the brothers in Nubia say when they were fighting for their liberation. You know what I mean? So I don't want people to be so like kumbaya, that they forget their natural instincts. Well, for some people, it's natural instinct. I think for the slave is just going to go with the Caucasian into the pits of hell. You want to look like the beast, act like the beast, have a mind like the beast, then you burn in hell with the beast. Those who choose liberation, information, and non-mind will liberate themselves to be free. And that doesn't mean violence. It means reading books like this and freeing your spirit, and then the body will follow. Because you don't want to go into the ghost state, right? We 9 ether, the lowest we're going to drop is 6 ether in death. Okay, so let's keep going here. We maintain and advocate that every race should have its own territory where it can practice its own way of life, mind its own business, and be master of its own destiny. And a race should do whatever is necessary to attain this goal, which is its rights by nature. But the Caucasian race is not such by nature that will permit this as long as it stays in spiritual, economic, and military powers. So the only hope that we darker races will ever have to be masters of our own destinies is to help nature remove Caucasians from power by practicing the first law of nature, which is self-preservation. And self-preservation has many angles and takes many forms. Like I just talked about, protecting yourself, self-preservation. 59. Darker races, the way to peace, security, and well-being is not the Caucasians' automation, handouts called economic aid, advanced technology, Earth and Moon satellites, etc. To put it another way, it is futile trying to play catch-up with the Caucasian economics, luxuries, technology, space explorations, and so forth, because they are too far ahead, and most of it is not necessary for survival and well-being anyway. So-called underdeveloped darker nations should develop their own ways and means of making and producing whatever they need for survival, well-being, and progress. Now let's pause there. Dr. York said something very important there. He said being futile to catch up with Caucasians and economics, luxuries, technology. Though it can be done that we catch up with the Caucasian, the Caucasoid, but as Nuwabians here, we're kind of behind. The Negroes even farther behind, but we're kind of behind too because a lot of us were former Negroes, blacks, porch monkeys, niggers, black tar babies, whatever they called us, right? That's what most of you niggas accepted, right? Nuwabians, we don't accept it according to our Constitution. I think it's Statute 3. We're not to accept foreign names. Dr. York calls those foreign names for you so-called Nuwabians who don't read the Constitution anyway. Matter of fact, you're very wasteful. You're very wasteful in my eyes. You're not practicing right knowledge, right wisdom, or right understanding. That leads to wisdom. And that's why he's still in a Negro state of mind. But anyway, enough of my rant. Right? The master teacher also says we don't need it as part of our survival anyway. And let me add one thing is that if you see Generation Alpha, which is like the new kids like in elementary school, they call them the iPad kids. They can't read, they can't write, but they know how to use that iPad. So these technology advancements are really making people dumber, not smarter. Because when the brain stops being worked out and you let the machine do all the working, you stop using your brain turns to slush. The neurons stop connecting and you become less than human. Now, I use technology to get these shows out, and I drive a tractor for Moon Logistics, our own company, and I need technology to do those things. But it's technology as far as survival, right? Not just to play video games all day or be on the iPad watching stuff that'll make your brain turn to mush. We don't want our brains to turn to mush. We want to have some type of survival habits or tactics that we use on the daily basis to keep our minds and our bodies alive. And that's living by nature. All right. So let's continue on here. Their own ways and means is much shorter and surer way to peace and security than trying to use the Caucasian for your development, because if the Caucasian helps you, there are strings attached that assures the Caucasian that you will never be master of your own destiny through his economic or military aid. Right? You could look at pause. You could look at the Ukraine. Ukraine will never win against Russia for the simple fact they need the United States to keep supplying them. So Ukraine is really a weak country, and United States is actually doing experiments in the Ukraine. They're using Ukrainians as guinea pigs over there. They have medical labs over there. So United States definitely has interests over there, but I think Donald Trump may stop providing military aid to Ukraine, or at least he said he's going to, right? So we'll see what Mr. Trump actually does. And we got to learn to buy the land and develop the land ourselves. Depending on them. That's why Dr. York didn't become he invited the BIA down, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, to the land. He said no, because the program we'd have to join, we'd have to give up our sovereignty. And we can't give up our sovereignty like the Chinese. I'm always talking about the Chinese because the Chinese are very smart. And they pulled the wool over America's eyes. Now they got the biggest military and they got the biggest economy on the planet. And by far the biggest manufacturing base. By far. United States will never catch up again. It's over. Okay, so number 60. Unfortunately, not only among Negroes in the United States, but all over the world, Caucasians have a system of Uncle Tomism. This worldwide system of bootlicking for the Caucasian is performed by individual persons and individual nations. Individuals, races, and nations cater to Caucasian whims and wills for mere economic or military handouts that keep them in pawn to Caucasian interests. Furthermore, accepting handouts is simply begging and bumping your way through, which is another form of selling yourself out. The Caucasian race has the whole world of darker peoples and nations on its welfare rolls. And the sooner darker peoples and darker nations wake up and understand that the only road to true independence and real progress is self-creativeness, the better off we all will be. Darker mankind must awaken and realize, although it is not as heavily oppressed, suppressed, and repressed as the Ethiopian race, it still has a long way to go to be master of its own destiny. Excuse me. 61. And by using the same prescriptions as described in these booklets for Ethiopians, other darker races can liberate themselves and be free. Of course, each race's application of nature's laws and way will be in each race's own nature as it is most effective this way. In other words, the solutions to world problems for Ethiopians is a solution for other races also against the number one common enemy called the Caucasian race. The Caucasian race killed off most darker peoples of Europe approximately 6,000 years ago and stole that continent. And less than 500 years ago, killed off the Ethiopians and Indians in North America and stole this continent. Has no intentions of stopping until it kills off most darker peoples of the earth and steal all the lands of the planet and establish a permanent world slave state. The whole Caucasian race is Hitler. So I think Dr. Khalid Muhammad also said every Caucasian got a little bit of Hitler in him. That's funny. Could or could not be true. Who knows? But they're doing a pretty good job of emulating them from our point of view. Now, look, they killed off some of our ancestors in here in North America, but definitely they just converted us into blacks. Right? They switched the birth certificates. And if you even called yourself an indigenous person, they would kill you because they know you had rights, right? If you called yourself an indigenous person. So, yeah. So, all right, let's go on to number 62. Only way we darker peoples can prevent this from happening is 1, understand the Caucasian is Dracula and remove the darkness, ignorance, at which Dracula must have to prey on his victims. 2, remove the bootlickers and crooks from power who Caucasians handpicked to head black organizations and run puppet and parrot governments. 3, reject and outlaw in darker nations the doctrine of the dead called Christianity and Judaism, which is simply vampirism and personification of the Caucasian race. 4, let Caucasians know as little about your plans and what you are doing, because they are merely spies and disruptor of darker people's way of life. 5, revamp your education system to follow your own nature, only. 6, reject Caucasian handouts and help because they only make beggars, dependents, and bootlickers of people. 7, whatever there is to be done for survival, well-being, and true progress, do it yourself in your own ability, own image and likeness, own time and nature. 8, develop own economy and own military might with own ability and own time. 9, national oil and all other resources that the Caucasians have any interest in be completely nationalized and let them have only that which is beneficial to let them have than harmful. This will cripple his world machinery of war and industry. All right, yeah, remember in Venezuela, they tried to got mad when Chavez nationalized the oil, y'all. And they tried to kill Chavez, and it was a failed CIA attempt to kill off Nicolas Maduro. But they couldn't do it. They caught him coming on shore and captured him. CIA gets sloppy. You know what I'm saying? So 63. This is the way we darker peoples must work mentally and physically to help nature remove Caucasians from economic and military powers for our own survival and security and well-being of the future and person of our children. Many people watch various Caucasian stock markets to determine Caucasian power, strength, and direction, but it makes no difference whether their stock markets go up and down as long as they still have the natural resources from darker nations to speculate with. They can abandon the present stock markets, create others, and keep going indefinitely. But when their resources are cut off, then stock markets fall. It stays down, and so will all of their other simple operations and plans decline, including their misused military might. 64. The Caucasian race can conquer and control peoples and nations anywhere in the world, but it cannot defeat and destroy laws, cycles, and way of nature. Therefore, these forces are our way out via knowledge of them and practice of them. If all races would understand and adhere to the codes, cycles, and way of nature, we all would be in our own lands, minding our own business and practicing our own way of life. 65. We conclude this booklet by relating this note. When the brain has been imprisoned by ignorance for a considerable term of time, it is possessed and sealed by that ignorance. So when that ignorance is being destroyed by universal nine knowledge, you may experience unpleasant dreams because the forces of ignorance are resisting the forces of knowledge. But the powers of knowledge will win if you are intelligent. Then the Caucasian race will be able to conquer and control darker peoples no place on the planet. And I think that's it, but we're getting Bible interpretation. So brothers and sisters, I would like to follow up this video with a summary video that I'm gonna be asking some questions, and that'll be it. Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. All right, all right. I had to pause the recording real quick because I had to plug in my laptop. Okay, so yes, I want to follow up. With a, you know what? Oh man, I forgot to put the screen on for you guys. Y'all been watching the wrong screen the whole time. Well, it's okay. I read it out, so you guys got the sound, you got my voice, and I'm still working at the Kings here. All right, I'm still working at the Kings, but next video I'm gonna be asking some questions about this. So hopefully, people have been taking notes. For the few people who do watch the show, thank you. We really appreciate that. And that's about it. So until next time, M. Terrible.